Tell your story.
Change the conversation.
Organized by students.
TEDxYouth at SHC.
Listen, oh listen. I know you say you hear me, but are you listening? Are you listening with your heart? Hey everybody, my name is Jesse Manibusan, and I'm so grateful to be here with you for this TEDx talk. The title of my talk is Listening, the Gift of Paying Attention and Learning from Everything. And just to give you a quick background, I'm a musician, a singer, and guitar player, piano player. And I've been doing this for most of my life, for over 45 years. So I'm like a dinosaur. And from where my family is from in the Pacific Islands, from Guam, our whole tradition is based on an oral tradition. It involves speaking and listening, singing and listening, working, sharing, sacrificing, grieving, laughing, and listening as we pass on the story through the generations. We don't simply just take in the words as data, but we take in the words as a way to listen for each other's heart, to listen to the sound of what could be needed. What is essential in a given moment in our life, with our neighbors, with ourselves. So let me start with my family. I'm one of 9 children. And of the 9 children, I was and still am referred to as the quiet one. One of 9, and I was the one, my nickname growing up was Mouse. A rather large mouse, but mouse nonetheless. My brothers and my sisters were very confident, outgoing, extroverted, super popular, absolutely super popular, involved in all manner of activities at school, in the city. They were just really super, super talented, fearless, brave, courageous, daring. And then there was me. Who rarely went out and joined in any reindeer games, even though I was offered to join in and be sociable. It wasn't my wiring. And yet it was okay, because I learned that I had a place, that I knew that I could find a place. And it really started with music. Imagine myself being 5 years old and my mother discovering that I had a voice as I'm singing melodies. And I'm singing melodies of a movie that was just on, called The Wizard of Oz. And I'm singing melodies that I had just heard once. And I can remember my mom saying, "Jesse, you have such a beautiful voice. And when you grow up, we're going to nickname you Bruno Mars." Okay, scratch that last part. Not true at all. But I remember that. And I remember that music really became part of my life. And it involved listening, because I didn't have any music lessons. To this day, I've never had a music lesson, so I'm self-taught. And the way that you get self-taught is you pay attention and you listen and you learn. And you watch other guitarists. My brothers were also self-taught. And so we had a community to which we could pay attention and learn how to play guitar, how to make chords. I want to tell you that it wasn't just my mom that affirmed, and I didn't just hear her voice. I also, when she said, "You have a beautiful voice," I could hear my dad saying he got it from me. And I've had moments throughout my life where listening to my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Judd, say to my parents, "Jesse struggles with every subject except for lunch, but not to worry. He's a really good kid and he's going to find his way." That remains with me today. Mr. Judd's kind words that I heard, listened, and planted firmly in my heart. I remember passing that on, that was going to be one of my life skill sets. Listening in the business world, in the world of our families, in all of our relationships, listening and sound is crucial. You can find study upon study about the importance of sound and the importance of listening. You hear a baby cry. You hear a baby crying. What does that call to you? How does that move you? Or if you hear a mother laugh, or if you hear a room full of your siblings laugh, or if you're at school and you're seeing someone struggle and someone go to reach out to them, you can hear the bell, you can hear the devices that we have, our tablets or our smartphones and whatnot. That sound is all part, and we're wired for listening. But here's the crux: to pay attention, to be mindful, to listen, and to learn. I remember this 7th grader named Sebastian who said, after one of my performances, he and his buddies were in the back of the venue, and he said, "Hey, Jesse, you got some mad guitar skills, dude." And I said, "Well, thank you, man. What's your name?" And he goes, "Sebastian." I said, "What grade are you in?" And he goes, "7th grade, but I'm going to be in 8th grade next year." And I was like, "Yeah, keep them grades up, dude." He said, "I'm learning how to play guitar, Jesse." And I just got so excited for him. I took my guitar out of my case, and it's a $6,000 guitar, and I put it in his hands. I said, "Sebastian, try this out." And he was so shocked. He was so shocked that someone that was on stage now was in front of him, offering him the guitar that he had just heard. And he played it. He was so moved. And that was just a moment. It was one of the many moments in my life, just like the many moments in your life, where we have an impact, where we can listen to someone, to find out what their name is, find out what they're excited about, and make a connection. It was about 15 years later that I heard from a young man named Sebastian. I didn't recognize his voice, but he did remind me of this story, and he was already a professional guitarist, and he was producing records in Nashville. And he just wanted to thank me for that moment. That in that moment for me was, and for others probably seemed like an insignificant moment. But you're sitting in these seats right now, watching a TEDx talk, and the fact that you're here, that you've shown up, you've stepped out, you're plugging in to this process where you're paying attention, listening, and learning, and it's going to have a rippling effect. It'll have a rippling effect through the days, through the months, through the years, through your whole life. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a very beautiful thing. I want to say that there are other voices that I listen to, and those voices, they're not an enemy, and they're not even a bad thing, but they go something like this. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm running out of time. I'm going to mess up. I'm not talented enough. I'm not popular enough. I'm not funny enough. Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to eat a gummy worm, because a real worm would be really gross and cruel. When do I get a break? It's useless. It's hopeless. Life is unfair. So I can tell you, my friends, that there are all kinds of things, all kinds of voices coming from outside of us and inside of us. And we also need to listen to those. And what I've learned through the years is that to listen to those voices doesn't mean that I need to go where they lead me. I want to listen to those voices and hear the deeper message, to consider what is the deeper unmet need that is really required. And a lot of times that'll result in a phone call, a text that'll involve playing a song, going through my playlist and finding something inspirational, or calling my daughter, or the myriad of possibilities that can help us get back on track to pay attention, to listen, and to learn. And I'm going to close with this one. This is a song that my daughter Jenna and I wrote, and it goes like this: all are welcome in this place. Behold love's amazing grace. All are welcome. All belong. Bring your hopes, bring your dreams. Life flows, love redeems. All are welcome. All belong. And I asked Jenna if she could give me some feedback on the song, and she gave me so much feedback that it changed the song. I asked her to listen to my song, to pay attention to the melody and to the text. And she said yes, and she listened, and she paid attention. And then she gave me feedback, so much feedback that when I wrote the chart and I sent it to my publisher, I put her name on as part of the co-write, as a composer. And she was like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm not a composer. I'm not even a musician. And I said, I know. But you helped transform this song and made it better. She goes, okay, I don't think it's my gift. And I said, don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. You do not have to worry about that. And so when she got a royalty check for like $750, she goes, Dad, let's write more songs. So I'm just saying, listening is part of our superpowers. To pay attention and to really listen and learn from everything is a beautiful adventure. So as I close, I just want to say happy paying attention, happy learning, and happy listening. Thank you so very much.